And welcome back to another episode of Life in Prison. My name's Zach, and for anyone that's new, or you haven't already done it, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification button so you'll be first informed when I upload, and hit that like button. Show a little bit of love. So, today we're going to be getting into is a little question and answer session. Had a lot of subscribers ask a few questions, about jail and in prison, the difference between the two, along with a few other things that fall along with being incarcerated pretty much. So, today, as always, this video is sponsored by Stone Collective Supply Company. Caleb, my man, over there fucking killing it, my guy. So, go ahead and check him out over on Instagram at Stone Collective Supply Company. Show him a little bit of love. Keep it moving, alright? The first question that had been asked was, what's the difference between jail and prisons? So, as I've said in my other videos, pretty much everything starts with jail, because some people go to jail but they don't go to prison. So, jail is whenever you're first arrested on whatever charges it may be. If it's something that the police feel that you need to go to jail for, then that's where you go. So in jail, every jail system is different, just along with every prison system is going to be different. So the jails around here, you pull up and it's a big fortress. ERJ is the jail that's actually around in this area, Eastern Regional Jail. So it holds about 500-600 inmates. There's two different sides. So when you first come in, you're in the back of the squad car. Right? Just imagine being in the back of a squad car, pulling into this gate. So there's a big sliding barbed wire gate that you pull up into for receiving, right? You see the kitchen dock over there to the left, and then you got receiving. So when you first come in, you've got a bunch of cell blocks, and there's honestly, it's a bullpen, it's holding cells for people that are coming in. So you'll have 20-30 people in this massive room, and the only thing that's in this room is a bathroom, a toilet, right, which everyone can see, and a kind of like a bench going in an L shape, going up the side and then down the side. So beside them is the females. They have a little bit more space for the males than the females, since there's more males that are locked up than females. They're right next door. You can't see anything. If you look out that door, all you see is a brick wall. Then you come around to receiving, and that's where all the COs sit for intake. They take your name, get your information, ask if you have any medical issues. That's where you would let them know. If you're dope sick or if you're coming off of drugs, let them know that, because nowadays there are some things that they can help you with so that it won't be a bad withdrawal. And if you do happen to be withdrawing, or if they feel that you're coming into jail with something inside of you, they've got some holding cells right there in front, and what they'll do is they'll shut the water off. All water supply is going to be shut off to this room. And they'll give you a bucket. So if you use the restroom, you have to go into this bucket. So if you have something inside of you, it'll come out, and then they can take it and charge you with trying to bring drugs or contraband into a jail prison facility. Whatever your charges are, if you've got a sex charge or if you're a rat, they've got a section, it's called PC, it's protective custody. It's for people that won't make it in the pods pretty much. So if you're scared of jail, or scared of certain individuals, or if you have a fucked up charge, you're gonna go to PC. If not, you're gonna go to whatever sections it may be. If you're in there on a felony charge, then you can go to the felony section. And if you're in there on a misdemeanor charge, then you'll go to the misdemeanor side. The females is also on the misdemeanor side. So, back when I was in jail, the pods were across from each other. Like I said, they had the tinted windows, two-way glasses, but if you got up on it real close, you'd be able to see the females in the pod next door. So if on misdemeanor side, okay, this is only a misdemeanor side. So on misdemeanor side, if you're walking up the halls, the only thing that you're gonna see is a bunch of dudes and a bunch of chicks. Yeah. Bro, she just showed me her boobs. Sweet. There's a lot of fights on the misdemeanor side over these females, because the females are right next door. So sometimes, even if you can't see them through the glass, there's a door in between each pod connecting them. Fire safety risk and issues and stuff, you have to be able to, get to each pod. So there's a crack in these doors, so you can slide notes in between to the female pod. So a lot of the times, these couples would get in relationships on the misdemeanor side while they're spending a few months. And there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of people that would get in fights over these females because he thought she was his girlfriend, but she's got a husband out on the streets who's sending her money, like, you know what I'm saying? And there's two different types of cell blocks. There's a small pod, which is holds about 16 individuals, 8 cells, or there's a bigger pod, which holds 30 individuals, and it's got 15 cells. 2 persons per cell. So some instances that there have been people where, you know, some jails are overcrowded and people aren't even in cells anymore. They're actually just laying out in the day room on the floor. So the next question was, do all jails and prisons offer, you know, medical treatment? So yes, they do. It's not the best medical treatment, just because, you know, you might have a few RNs and stuff like that, but you know, if you get beat up, you're gonna go and then get some Neosporin for a cut, might get a little ice pack for a black eye, but they don't really give these inmates too much stuff. I had actually gotten sent out whenever I was Huttonsville. There was a nice little gang fight that popped off, and I had gotten hit when I had some glasses on. I had glasses on in prison. So when I'd gotten hit in my face, my glasses hit my eye and it cut my eye. So I had to go out to a ophthalmology office out there in Huttonsville. When I was at Huttonsville, West Virginia, the prison, I went into the city of Huttonsville, and I went to the ophthalmology office. You know, just because the stuff at the prison, you know, medical wise, the only thing they're gonna be able to do, like I said, is give you some Tylenol, an eye patch, and some ice until you go back to the pod. You know what I mean? So whenever you got issues where there's a possibility where something could be wrong with your eyesight, or something could be wrong with your hearing, or any other type of, you know, health ailments, they'll sometimes send you out to these other places to get checked out. So that was the only time that I'd ever really been in medical. You know, while I was in prison, I did make daily trips up to medical, but I had a different agenda back then. There's a few drugs, they call it dummy dope in jail and in prison, that you get, you know, Seroquel, gabapentin, clonazepams, Buspars. A lot of these things, you know, Wellbutrin, for people that need it, it's fine. But you got the individuals that aren't supposed to be taking it, and then when they do take it, they get high. So the people that are taking these medications, what they'll do is when they go to med call, they'll get their meds, they'll cheat their meds, and then go back to the pod and then sell them or do them, you know, snort them, whatever they may. If the COs are looking at you while you're taking your medication, how can you get away with not taking it while they're looking in your mouth? All right, so since I don't have any pills, I'm gonna use this little piece of towels, all right, to show you how we do it. So whenever you go up to pill call, like I said, these COs are gonna tell you to open your mouth, lift up your tongue, and show that there's nothing in your mouth. So you can't put it in underneath your tongue, because it's gonna look, and they're gonna make you put your fingers in your mouth. So what you do is the moment that, so what they do is they give you a little cup in your pill. So what you're supposed to do is put the pill into the water so it dissolves, and then take it, right? So you drop the pill in the water and then you take it. But whenever you take it and you tilt your head back, the moment you tilt your head back, you need to take the pill and stuff it into the upper part of your mouth right here. Not under your tongue, not back here. You need to stick it right about here. In those few seconds you're going back, so when you come up, when you know, open up your mouth, they can see there's nothing in there. For instance, all right, so say I had just dropped this in a cup of water, right? So I put it in my mouth, come back down, it's gone, right? You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna see it, but it's in there. The moment you walk off, just pop it out so that whatever's in your mouth, it doesn't dissolve in your mouth. You know what I mean? And that's how a lot of people would make their hustles. Some people would get into medical, some of these diabetics would get into medical, and they would get a hold of needles sometimes in the jails. I'm not sure how they get a hold of these needles, because like I said, these nurses and COs are on them. They're watching. With these diabetics, most of the time, the diabetics aren't poking themselves sometimes, especially if they're new. most of the time the nurses will administer the insulin for the inmates, but somehow they get a hold of these needles and then they take them back into the pot and people use them, over and over and over again. In people's heads, I've seen people use needles in jail and in prison. I've seen people use crack pipes too, but whenever people are sharing these needles, what they'll do is in between each use, they'll put a bunch of bleach and water in the plunger and keep plunging it, thinking it's, you know what I'm saying? I do not advise it. So another frequently asked question was religious. Do all prisons and jails offer religious programs to the inmates? So yes, they do. And honestly, a lot of times inmates will put down, because whenever you first come in, they ask you, what religious status you are, and that goes through your whole prison bid, all right? A lot of people will get on these certain religious diets because they'll get certain types of food. A lot of the Muslim brothers, they eat differently, okay? They have different meals than what the normal prisoners get on a daily basis. Along with, I think Rastafarianism was another one in there that had a special meal, a special diet plan. Let's see, vegetarians, they had a special diet plan. They got a lot of beans for the proteins. Some people would do it on purpose, but Catholics, a lot of people would put Catholic down on, because whenever you're in jail, okay, you're not allowed to take in any of your jewelry. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you get in jail, if you have any type of jewelry or any piercing, you take it all out. The only thing you're allowed to have is a wedding band if you're married, but it is not allowed. You can't have any stones or gems on it. It has to be just a solid wedding band. And if you have a religious pendant, say if you were a Christian and you had a cross around your neck, as long as it didn't have any diamonds or anything in it, you were allowed to keep it, take it in with you. Along with rosaries. If you had rosaries, if you're a Catholic, you were allowed to take it in with you as long as there was no diamonds or gems in it. So a lot of people would change their religion in jail and in prison, because the chaplain would then give you a rosary if you converted to to the Catholic religion, and people would then either just wear it because it was, now you had a necklace in jail, or they would then sell it. How do prisoners typically spend their day? So everyone has their own routine. That's one thing. Whenever you get locked up, regardless if it's jail or prison, you want to get into a routine. And reason being is it makes your day go by. Just like out here on the streets, most people have a routine. You either go to work, you come home, you do this to keep your day going. Well, jail, prison is the same exact thing. People do things to get their mind off things. A lot of people, number one thing, pretty much people work out. That's top. People do a lot of working out in the jail and the regional. Chess. Chess is another one. I learned to play chess, honestly, back in my first few jail sentences, starting in 2007. I learned to play chess, and I got pretty good, to be honest with you. Obviously, there's people that are way better than me out there, but there's a lot of people in prison that are very, very good at chess, because that's all they have to do is sit down, talk to the individual across from them, and play a game where it deals with a lot of forward thinking, long-term thinking. If anyone knows the chess game, you're not just playing this move then this move. You have to be thinking 10 moves ahead. You know what I'm saying? Cards. A lot of people would play poker. That's one thing that was a no-no for us, was gambling or pretty much playing poker, because there's a lot of fights and a lot of stabbings and a lot of deaths that have happened over poker or spades. Spades was another one. Whenever you're gambling in jail or in prison, in general, whenever you're gambling in general, if you have an addiction and you don't stop, you're going to end up going broke. So think about it, right? Say you're in jail or in prison and you have a table, a poker table getting played. There's about 9-10 people at that table. Whoever's running that table best believe that they have 2 other people that they're in cahoots with so that they do not lose. You know what I'm saying? You got to think, what's the whole purpose of playing poker? It's winning. Do you think the house is going to want to lose all the time? Because then they're going to be losing money. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it works. So whenever you go into jail or prison, whenever you sit at a card table, just automatically assume that you're getting played. They've taken all your motherfucking zoom wham whams, the whole shebang, all your zippy cakes, they're gonna be gone. Like I said, there's been a lot of stabbings and, you know, murders that have happened over the poker table. Talked about a previous video with Darius Cook, bank robber. We talked about his experience where he saw someone get sliced up over poker debts. You'd go to law library and see people there for 10 hours a day reading over law, just trying to get an understanding of why they were put in this position, because at the time, some people are innocent, you know? Just because someone's in jail or in prison doesn't mean that they're always guilty. There's a lot of individuals out there that unfortunately have been taken advantage of or relied upon, and you know, sometimes cops don't want to be wrong, so they'll plant things on people, or they'll just falsely accuse individuals. And who are they going to believe? A cop, a judge, or a regular civilian that's got a record? You know what I mean? So like I said, some people are really in there fighting for their life because sometimes they have a life sentence, but they really did not do it. So another question was, what types of jobs do the inmates have? So in prison and in jail, you got to think, look at the facilities in themselves, okay? Instead of hiring outside contractors for each of these facilities, what they do is they get the inmates to do all the work, so they save millions of dollars a year in expenses from, instead of having to hire these electricians or these plumbers or these cooks or these cleaners, you know what I'm saying? Or the people that do landscaping, saving all that money. And then in jail, you don't get paid for any of this stuff, but in prison you actually do. So a lot of people, you'll work in the kitchen, you'll work maintenance, you'll work laundry, you know, you'll either do cleanups, as in hallways, like janitors pretty much. You have barber shops, people who do barber shop stuff. Certain prisons have different types of things. I know prisons do farming. They sell fruit, they sell vegetables, some sell potatoes. Say you were driving down the road and you see a van and it says prisoners and they're wearing orange. The people that are out there cutting the grass or cleaning up the trash along highways or intersections and stuff, that can be a job also. You gotta think, if they were to go out there and pay these companies to do the landscaping and cutting the grass along these highways, how much do you think that would be? Okay, so now we're actually gonna pay these prisoners $30 a month to be out there for 10 hours a day sweating their balls off. Just like the old chain gang back in the day. They used to go through these fields and tear up these fields and grow things, all shackled and connected all the way down. You know, hundreds of inmates shackled together, walking in a row up these fields and farming. All right, so prison commerce here works like this. Either you're working and getting money put on your books, or your loved ones and friends on the streets are sending you in money, all right? So once you have money on your books and you're allowed to buy things, because just because you have money on your books doesn't mean you're allowed to buy things. Because if you're on, say you got in trouble, and one of the stipulations in the write-up was from magistrate court was loss of privileges. We call it LOP, loss of privileges. A lot of times you can't order food. Sometimes you don't get book privileges. Sometimes you can't use your phone or your tablet. So if you're on loss of privileges and you can't eat or order food, then you're kind of hit. You know what I'm saying? You might have this money in your books. A lot of times people would then just go to the, you know, the store man and order some stuff until they are all off LOP. But normally, if you have money on your books, you're allowed to go once a week. At Huttonsville, for instance, you can go once a week to commissary, and it's by section. So since I was on the gang unit went once a week, and you were allowed to spend $100 at the store. So they'd call the unit, whoever was allowed, you know, and it was top tier and bottom tier on the gang unit. So they didn't call the whole dorm. They would say top tier commissary or bottom tier. So we'd all take our laundry bags. That's where you'd stuff your food in. You don't have backpacks or bags in prison, so you use your laundry bag as your tote sack. So you go down to commissary. They give you a piece of paper to fill out, and it has all the items on it with the prices. You have to do your own math, because if you write a bunch of stuff down and you don't have the money for everything, they're not going to give you everything. Wherever your money stops at, that's where they stop at. So if you owe someone something and you don't have enough money, good luck, my friend. You stand in line, you give them your stuff, you know, then they have a bunch of inmates working commissary that then goes and grabs all this stuff for you. They bring it to the front. Then the lady or man that's running the commissary, up in West Virginia, I do believe we used Airmark as our commissary, key fee Airmark. And this is an outside contractor worker. Before you got your stuff, they would count everything out and make sure that you have everything that you have or supposed to have, and then give it to you. In prison, if you were to run a store, right? Say you wanted a soup. You came to me and you're like, hey, I want a soup. All right, well, since I enjoy the chili soups in prison, that's what I got. So say you came to me and was like, hey bro, I want a soup. All right, I got you. You want the chili joint? I got you. Store day, I need 3 back, right? So when you came back, you'd be bringing me 3. So I just came up 2 for lending you this 1 for the week. Inflation, blah, 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 you gotta make your money. Sometimes it's 1 for 2 back or 1 for 3 back. It depends on who's running the store and whatever they want back. Most of the time, the store man's gonna have whatever you want. Whatever you want, whatever you need, they're gonna have it. Give the subscribers the answers that they had wanted and asked. So as always, Stone Collective Supply Company is in here. Caleb, I love you, bro. Go ahead and check him on Instagram at Stone Collective Supply Company. Shit's fire. This is just a short little video drop on questions and answers that the subscribers, if you want to know, I got you. If you guys have any other questions that you'd like to hear, go ahead, put them in the comment section. If you'd like me to ask a current inmate some questions, a lot of people want to know how it's really like living life in prison. So whenever I do these video chats with these inmates that are still doing prison time, if you guys would like me to ask these dudes anything, anything. If you guys would want me to ask these dudes anything, go ahead and put it in the comment section and we can make it happen. I send my utmost love, loyalty, respect. I love you guys. Stay positive, keep your heads up, and I'll see you guys next time.